This is an homage to Stella Young, Inspirational Porn, the day I realized I'm a medical sex doll. About a week ago, awakened in a familiar scenario. It was 4 a.m., and a short walk to the bathroom once again became a perilous journey from toilet to face on the floor. Unable to breathe, head bent forward, unable to speak or move my legs to get myself off the tile and out of this early morning abyss. I was in trouble and needed help, and with an innate survival instinct dialed 911. And in my fight or flight dial for help, I came to realize I've been a medical sex doll and did not know it. I live with two of the rarest diseases in the world, hypokalemic periodic paralysis and congenital myasthenic syndrome, neither of which has a cure, and most doctors will never see one of these diseases, let alone two. But within minutes, my weakness and loss of breath are too serious, and I needed 911 for approximately the 400th time. It's a terrifying few minutes between becoming entirely paralyzed as a quadriplegic, risk of respiratory failure with collapse of lungs, aspiration with impaired swallowing, and potential imminent death, and yet was at the mercy of whichever firefighters or EMTs would break down my door in a crash of Russian roulette with my life. Once more, calling 911 is how I got diagnosed years before. I should know better. What was it Captain Garcia said? I'm half Mexican, surely you can understand. No, I don't. And because 911 is indicated for help, most of us don't imagine it. It's also a portal hole to becoming an entry hole for abuse. EMS, sex doll, flaccid, vulnerable, and at the ready to deflate with a demand of giving too much oral. Unable to speak as they demand, as if magic will articulate. And despite experience and wisdom to know penetration can be deadly, sex dolls are replaceable as the next 911 call these responders take. But the instinct to survive is so great I forget my common sense. Humans hurt each other and no longer blink about it. But Texan hubris delight. Supposedly Darwin had a chilopathy also, and I wonder, perhaps Herbert Spencer came up with survival of the fittest after reading Darwin's Origins of Man and pondered natural selection and survival based upon Darwin's own experience. Did he call for help too? In my repeat PTSD horror show about to unfold, I realize I'm a living sex doll, desperate to breathe, mouth agape, wide open, panting in rapid respiration, with eyes just as wide in terror of, please read my medical alert and please read the hospital discharge summary. And like any good sex worker, I beg you, please don't hurt me. And no one's listening. Sex dolls do not speak. This is why men buy them or demand it of sex workers. And with my fine insurance and guaranteed payment for their jack-off of arrogance in my mouth, even if they accidentally kill me, I'm unable to tell these supposedly trained men, and sometimes women, why I've crumbled to the ground, and despite my terrific communication skills and over-the-top education, it's my body they want to hear from and listen to. And it's betrayed me once again in a roll of bad dice. Bad genetic dice. I must depend upon the charge of men before me to treat me as if my life depends upon it, because it does, but testosterone and adrenaline become a porn show for their desire to show me who's boss. My 911 Johns. Hey, Clay Nolan, that's you. You had me on the ground, spread equal naked, injured, and you were amused. You are a sick fuck. With my 34C breasts and size 2 body with white thong panties pulled down below my waist to reveal my vulva, a sheer white t-shirt I've slept in still reveals smooth caramel-colored skin. My pretty face, photographed thousands of times for its beauty, is somewhat older but not yet completely aged, and my long come-hither legs, a standard of beauty, have let me down. They're useless as the air about to leave my living sex doll on the floor body, in desperate need of Gloria Steinem and the power of now with Eckhart Tolle to enlighten the cowboys on the tile to listen to me, but instead are at the ready to gamble, instead are they ready for the gamble of playing craps with my life and death journey in their care of risk. In their care of me risk deflating rest in peace, or RIP. As a possible soon-to-be sex doll to be discounted to the morgue, as returns are not taken COD, once I've coded, and not unlike Whitney Houston, whom I once stood in for as a favor for a producer friend, they do not disconsider their exploitation of me in Selfie Nation in their "we can do no wrong" delusion. The postmortem photos might as well include my nakedness as triumphant trophies of their manly game of "we are insane, we have penises in these pants, and we can do what we want." Desperate, I'm unable to communicate. I'm not their medical whore, and worse, not their toy from which with whom my life is what they're allowed to play with. But I did dial for help, no different than the deliberate act of any man calling sex line for satisfaction. I pray their reading skills will outpower their hormones of misogyny of 2,000 pounds of male having stormed through my door with caveman-like surges of "Why are you on the floor?" and the meretricious persiflage begins. Oh, D.H. Lawrence, forgive me. At 115 pounds, I put on weight. I'm not that thin anymore. I'm no match for the youngest in the room, just back from his honeymoon. I know because after he reveals my breast for an EKG, which he showed the whole fucking street, thank you, and speaks to me as if I'm both stupid and dumb, and leaves me naked and bare for view as I ask him in gasping breath, has he seen enough? Yes, he responds and pulls down my top. He goes on and tells me about his honeymoon as we proceed to the hospital by ambulance. And I fear him. He continues to refuse any medical information from me. My medical alert in view, he tells me he's sure I'm lying because most patients in ambulances do, and he prepares to put a PICC line in me and dials up his dare and injects me with the very stuff I'm allergic to, and I begin to wonder if dying as he blathers on might be freedom from this repeated degradation and terrorization. To be beautiful and female with a rare disease is not a gift, but a target, a bullet, a nightmare, a curse, a gang rape that does not end, as if to be fucked on in the ass on a cold hard floor is on my bucket list. Instead, I've discovered I've become a medical sex worker to survive, tits, ass, vulva, for all to see on a regular basis. Mostly men, seldom with kindness, compassion, or care, trafficked in their Napoleon Bonaparte invention. And I wonder for a moment if I was a corpse, would they cover my bella fica, my beautiful pussy, as men used to call it, before this disease scared them into hiding away from me and from loving me? This now debilitated beauty must nearly perform oral sex with keen wit and complete humiliation, while unable to say an intelligible word in hopes of not being medically and mortally injured.